This is Sunday Live with Jeff Koinange and Olive Barrows.
Welcome to the very first Sunday in August. We have a great show for you today.
He's back!
I am back.
You see the big goofy grin on my face?
Well,
this is how happy I am to have you back.
At least you stopped trending.
Well, now hopefully I'll trend for the right reason.
There you go, there you go. Later on in the show, the Olympics 100-meter final is going to be run with our very own, hopefully, Ferdinand Omanyala.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
9:50. Stay tuned for that. And of course, our usual broadcast, which is exciting as always.
As always.
Start tweeting at Koinange Jeff.
At O Burrows at Citizen TV Kenya. Hashtag Sunday Live.
Sunday Live begins.
We'll have a guest tonight.
We have a guest.
Yes, Karuti Kanyinga, development researcher, is what he calls himself. That's his title.
All right.
But perhaps you may remember him from the Committee of Eminent Persons on the Constitutional Review process.
Looking forward to that. Sunday Live begins right now.
Tonight.
Alikuwa anapewa nafasi, pastor anahubiri kama 10-15 minutes, yeye anapewa nafasi na washirika wote wanaambiwa msipoingia nyinyi hamko na sisi.
Scammers strike investors in Eldoret again. Church leaders, lawyers, farmers duped out of millions of shillings in yet another investment scam in Uasin Gishu County.
Zimamoto ingefika tu mapema. Tungu wangeungua hapo ndani bila angechomeka.
Toy traders counting losses. Agony as toy traders count deaths and destruction occasioned by the market fire.
I'm saying here in the camera that I have never been called to write a statement up to this moment.
Who is fooling whom? Cooperative CS nominee Wycliffe Oparanya maintains innocence over graft claims, says he was never questioned by the EACC.
Kama wako na njia ya kutoa rigiji jama, kama wako na jama hiyo ya kumtoa, sisi wanaazimia tunasema hawatamtoa peke yake.
Is Kalonzo warming up to Mount Kenya? Wiper leader Musyoka vows to mobilize Azimio legislators to reject Gachagwa's impeachment.
All right, welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Eula Nzale. Now, we begin the broadcast with the unfolding fraud in Eldoret, where more victims of a forex trade investment con are coming forth to expose Springmark Investments Company that is alleged to have scammed hundreds of the county's residents.
The victims accuse the owner of the company of deceiving them and making away with hundreds of millions of shillings. The accusations come as fresh allegations against another similar company also emerged. And as Brenda Wanga now reports, the victims are also blaming a local church for providing a platform and access to church members to Springmark.
At the Dominion Church Action Estate, Eldoret Town, a church service is underway. Some of the worshippers at this church are counting losses incurred when one man, Ambrose Makechabuti, lured them into giving him their earnings to invest for them in forex trading, promising handsome returns. What they got instead has been tears, heartbreak, and near financial ruin. Susan Waititu is one of the people who are convinced to put their hard-earned money into Springmark Investment Limited, listed as a deposit lending investment company. For her investment, she was promised monthly returns of 18%. She started with an initial investment of 240,000 shillings and kept topping up the amounts each month. To enable her kids benefit from the would-be boom, she was soon joined in the investment company by her family, including her blind brother who invested his 1.2 million shillings.
Anaishi Nakuru. Akatuintroduce kama familia, sa familia yote mzima iko kwa Ambrose. By then niko na hata brother mwenye haoni, anaishi Kajiado. alikuwa ameinvest 1.23 na ni mwalimu, alikuwa amechukua loan. Saizi loan inamremea juu every month anakatwa karibu 30,000. Sasa ukikatwa 30,000 na wewe ni mwalimu, unabaki hauna na hauoni, na ako na familia yake, ako na watoto wawili.
William Getumbe, a music producer in Eldoret, suffered the same enticement as Susan and hundreds of others. Getumbe, a former worshipper at the Dominion Church, also blames the church's leadership for enabling Ambrose to con its members.
Ambrose Makecha Buti anakuja, kwanza yeye ni elder katika kanisa ya Dominion hapa Action, na alikuwa anapewa nafasi, pastor anahubiri kama 10-15 minutes, yeye anapewa nafasi na washirika wote wanaambiwa msipoingia nyinyi hamko na sisi. You are not together with us, so you must do. Na si kanisa moja tu, alitembea makanisa tofauti. Yani hii tuseme ukweli tu ya kwamba hii mambo ya uwekezaji wa Ambrose Makecha Buti, watu waliingishwa katika kanisa, kila mhubiri Eldoret, bishops, apostles waliingiza washirika wao wote kwa ule ushawishi ambao wako nao.
Getumbe further says Ambrose was not the only one to get Eldoret residents to invest in the forex trading investments. His brother-in-law is also said to have opened another company that also had tens of people putting their money.
Nimeinvest mara mbili, nimeinvest kwa Ambrose na nimeinvest kwa Maxwell, ambayo Maxwell kulingana venye nilichunguza, Maxwell na Ambrose ni relative na wote bado wanashiriki Dominion Church.
Umesikia mtu kama Maxwell alianzisha forex akapotea naye. Huyu wameoa kanisa moja, wameoa madada na Ambrose. Yani Ambrose na huyu Maxwell ambao wanatafutwa na serikali wameoa na Ambrose mwenyewe ni mtu ambaye anatoka katika hiyo kanisa, ni elder katika.
Those affected by the scam say their lives have been turned upside down with their money lost to the company and loans piling up by the day.
Karibu kila mwezi natakiwa nilipe 50,000. Niko na gari iko na deni. Utaona hapa nje gari langu aliko. Nilikuwa na studio ya muziki ambayo Citizen waliangazia wakati wa COVID. Sina saa hizi. So kumaanisha nimeadhirika kabisa.
Pesa yote ya kazi tulipeleka kwa Ambrose tukijua maisha itakuja ikuwe mzuri. Ambrose venye alishika pesa yetu, alienda nazo zote. Sasa biashara zetu ziko chini. Yani unashindwa hata utasurvive aje na watoto.
They have also blamed the law enforcement for failing to act and bring the perpetrators to book, claiming that each time Ambrose is arrested, the suspect is released. The church leadership declined to speak to Citizen TV when we visited the church today. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Toy market traders are counting their losses after fierce fire left a trail of deaths and destruction.
Our family in Kibera is mourning the deaths of two of their relatives in the inferno that destroyed Toy Market. The late Kevin Ochieng and the late Janet Kweyu died while trying to rescue some of their properties during the inferno. The story is produced by very own Jorogi Gatete.
About 200 meters from Toy Market, which was razed down on Saturday morning, we arrive at this one-roomed house. The owner, Margaret Atieno, is seated holding her chin and in deep thoughts. She is yet to come to terms with the death of her firstborn son, 35-year-old Kevin Ochieng.
Yeye hafanyi biashara. Biashara aliwekea bibi.
It all started on Saturday 5 a.m. when she received a distress call that the market was on fire and that she had to rescue her property.
Mimi nikapigia kijana yangu huyu mwenye amechomeka simu kwa sababu yeye pia ako na biashara Toy Market. So tukaenda Toy, tukaanza kuokoa vitu.
Ochieng first went to check on his mother's stall before proceeding to his wife's 3 stalls. At this moment, the fire had not spread. However, hell broke loose when Atieno received reports that her son was missing and that the fire had reached his wife's stalls. A search started, and that is when they discovered 4 bodies, which at the time had not been burned beyond recognition.
Kaambia huyo kijana ajaribu kutoa hizo mabati zenye zilikuwa hapo mbele ya kibanda. Alipotoa tu hivi na kijiti, tukapata bado wanachomeka na bado wanaweza kujulikana, na kijana akashout ndio huyu Billy. So mimi nikaangalia nikaona kijana yangu akiendelea kuchomeka na alikuwa amelalia wengine. Wakati huo hatukuwa tumejua ya kwamba amechomeka na shemeji yake.
To her shock, Ochieng was not alone, but he was in the company of his sister-in-law Janet Kweyu, who had also rushed to rescue her sister's properties. Kweyu also died in the inferno.
Tulitafuta zimamoto 3 hours. Hakuna zimamoto. After 3 hours zimamoto inakuja gari moja ikiwa na maji nusu. Wanasema ya kwamba magari mengine hayakulala na maji.
His death is a big blow to his younger sister Pauline Atieno, who is set to join the Kenya Medical Training College and was hopeful that Ochieng, a head teacher at a private school in Kibra, was going to fund her education.
Zimamoto ingefika tu mapema. Yangu wangeungua hapo ndani. Bila angechomeka. I was supposed to join September 10th. But kuna mwenye atalipa your school fees Jubilee. The plan.
With the bodies having been burnt beyond recognition, the family will have to wait longer to bury their loved ones. First, they are expected to give samples to test for DNA before the remains are released. The 2 other charred bodies are yet to be identified. Meanwhile, at the destroyed toy market, some of the affected traders have already started reconstructing their stalls a day after the inferno happened. Their hope is that the government will put to an end the perennial fires witnessed at the market, compensate the traders and build a modern market. In June last year, over 3,000 traders were affected after another fire incident which they blamed on land grabbers who were out to take over the land.
All right, on to the vetting of cabinet nominees. And Wycliffe Oparanya, the cabinet nominee for cooperatives and MSMEs, maintained his innocence, saying he was never questioned over alleged graft by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Terming the statement by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission contesting his clearance as a political witch hunt. Oparanya stated that the money in question are proceeds from the sale of a house. Our reporter Melito Letenges reports.
Good afternoon, nominee.
It was time for Wycliffe Oparanya, the former governor of Kakamega, to take to the hot seat against the backdrop of a letter from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to the Clerk of the National Assembly, Samuel Njoroge, that he was being investigated for graft. Out of the nominees presented by the president, only Oparanya was allegedly on the EACC radar. In a rejoinder to the graft claims by EACC, Oparanya denied to have ever been questioned.
I'm saying here in the camera that I have never been called to write a statement up to this moment. So I don't know even what I'm being accused for, because if I knew, I would have explained. But I just read it in the papers like the way you read it.
EACC raided Oparanya's homes in Kakamega and Nairobi on the 23rd of August 2023, where they claimed to have seized crucial documents linking the former governor to graft claims. The former Council of Governors chair says the search was a wild goose chase.
And when they came to my house, it was even not about corruption. The first question they asked, what business do you do with Raila Amolo Odinga?
He was, however, put to task on why he went ahead to obtain conservatory orders if indeed he was not guilty.
And the way they harassed my children, they took their phones. I didn't know what was going to happen next time. So I decided, why can't I go to court to protect me? And that's why I went there. And according to the Constitution, I'm not supposed to be searched the house. It is there in the Constitution.
Have said they suffer from.
It still remains unclear who is fooling who in the ping-pong between the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and Wycliffe Oparanya. This even as the EACC and the ODPP give conflicting verdicts on whether Oparanya has a case to answer or not. On Hustler Fund, which he once fiercely opposed, terming it politics of tokenism, Oparanya had a change of heart.
How will you handle Hustler Fund? It's in that ministry. What do you think you will do? And you know the way we opposed it very well, me and you, on the streets.
The only problem is that this fund was launched in a hurry without proper legal structures in place.
Oparanya pledged to stream cooperative sector by instituting a number of measures, including injection of funds. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
The vetting process of the first batch of 20 cabinet nominees ended this evening as Cabinet Secretary nominee for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, and that is Hassan Ali Hassan, took a better chunk of his presentation before the National Assembly Committee on Appointments to defend his academic qualifications.
That's right. Now, Joho told the committee that despite dropping out of class, he is a proud holder of 2 bachelor's degrees and an ongoing master's program at Harvard University in the U.S. The former ODM deputy party leader was also put to task on allegations of involvement in the narcotics business.
As Emmanuel now reports, the 4-day vetting process ended with 5 other cabinet nominees, including Alfred Mutua and Justin Muturi, making a case for their being given a second chance.
He was the first of the 5 cabinet nominees to face the Committee on Appointments on Sunday to ascertain his suitability to take over the mantle as the next CS for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I, Hassan Ali Joho.
And straight on, former Mombasa Governor Hassan Ali Joho came face to face with the allegations that he was not academically qualified to take up the slot.
I got a D-, no doubt. But Mr. Speaker, I turned that around. Today, as I sit here, I hold 2 degrees that are before you. Mr. Speaker, I am on my pathway to attain a master's degree from the most prestigious university in the world.
During the session, Joho took the panel through his winding path of struggles in the world of academics, stating that he attended Tomboya Primary School in Mombasa, then proceeded to Serani High School in the same county before taking a sabbatical. Joho then made a comeback to the classroom in 2006, taking up a bridging course to join university and then a diploma in 2007. He later pursued a degree course from Kampala University in 2013 and another one from Gretsa University, Thika. The former ODM deputy party leader says he is currently undertaking a master's leadership course at the Kennedy School of Leadership, Harvard, United States.
Because simply my parents couldn't afford school fees. When I found the slightest opportunity for self-improvement, which I believe is a continual process, I grabbed it.
Joho also fought off allegations that he was a drug baron involved in the drug trafficking in the country, maintaining that he was as white as snow.
The late Honorable Saitoti, may the Almighty rest his soul in eternal peace, came back to Parliament with a report that no iota of evidence was found against me.
In 2010, 4 MPs, including Joho, who was the MP for Kisauni then, were named as the high-profile Kenyans whose alleged involvement in narcotics trade was under probe following a secret US dossier. Joho, who disclosed that he was worth 2.3 billion shillings, also defended his earlier sentiments that he wouldn't work with President William Ruto. During the vetting, the CS nominee for Labour and Social Protection, Alfred Mutua, explained what he will do to alleviate the burden of unemployment in the country.
We need the jobs here. In as much as we also want Kenyans to go overseas, we want to have those jobs in Kenya. And so we're going to remove all the bottlenecks, and I'll have a cabinet paper to remove the bottlenecks and provide opportunities for people here.
Others who also appeared include the former Attorney General Justin Muturi, who was nominated as the CS for Public Service and Human Capital Development. The former Speaker disputing claims he misadvised the president, leading to the Kenya Kwanza administration losing many cases in court.
That story was not correct. That advisories were not being taken, because the office gives advisories in respect to very, very many issues international law.
The clerk needs 10 minutes to change files.
After 4 days of vetting President William Ruto's nominees to cabinet, the Committee on Appointments will now be taking a break to write a report which will be tabled in the House for consideration by the members of the National Assembly, and also come back for another vetting process of 2 nominees to the East Africa docket and also the Attorney General position. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
At the same time, Gender, Arts and Culture Cabinet Secretary nominee Stella Soylangat has called for legislation of laws to help the country bridge the 2/3 gender rule.
Soy, a first-time nominee to cabinet, closed the 4-day vetting process this evening, pledging to prioritize the mainstreaming of gender, arts and culture in the country.
And as we are sitting in this room, Mr. Speaker, sir, I am aware that there are initiatives under the Gender Inequality Commissions and proposals to initiate issues on amendment of the Constitution to address the gaps which have not been addressed under the legislation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am aware also that the issues of 2/3 gender rule is a big challenge, especially in leadership under the National Assembly and appointee positions, because we are lacking the legislative platform where operationalizing the 2/3 gender rule is supposed to be guided through.
In what appears to be political realignment, Wiper leader Kalonzo Moka now says he has embarked on a campaign to unite the Gema communities of Kikuyu, Meru, Embu and Akamba.
That's right. Now, Moka, who led a section of Azimio's constituent parties to Kiambu, where they held an impromptu rally, urged the Mount Kenya community to support his bid. Kalonzo vowed to mobilize the Azimio legislators to oppose any attempt to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Willie Lusige has more.
Days after Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Moka declared himself as the new leader of Azimio coalition following the appointment of ODM members to the cabinet, a section of Azimio coalition leaders arrived in Kiambu County. They joined the congregation at CFF Church before holding a public rally in Kiambu town to propagate their agenda. Leaders present criticizing ODM leader Raila Odinga for aligning with President William Ruto after ODM members were appointed to the cabinet. They insisted that Kalonzo was now the face of Azimio and the opposition in the country.
Na hakuna mtu ambaye alikuwa ameapa kushinda William Ruto kutakuwa na serikali ya nusu mkate. Lakini kitu moja hivi kile amefanya, ametuacha kwa mataa. Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka, wewe ongoza sisi wote turudiane, tutengeneze ile gema ya mbeleni.
They officially announced that Kalonzo will run for the presidency come 2027 as the candidate of the 3 constituent parties and called on the Mount Kenya community to rally behind him.
Ya kwamba watu wa Kiambu na watu wa Mlima muko na marafiki. Marafiki waliotembea nanyi. Hao marafiki mmoja wao ni Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
Mwenye tumeachiwa sasa na mwenye tunatembea na yeye, because there must be an alternative to the things happening in this country. Na sisi wakaji wa eneo hili tufugue macho yetu. Sisi tukitembea na Kalonzo tunasema omba Mwenyezi Mungu mapenzi yake yafanyike.
Kalonzo, who claimed they had former President Uhuru Kenyatta's blessings, promised the Mount Kenya community that they will reap significant benefits if they supported him in 2027.
Going forward, lazima tuweke dual carriageway. Itoke Nairobi kuje Kiambu, so that Kiambu becomes kwa baba yao. And going forward should be part of the next movement ambayo tunaiunda. Make no mistake, our brother Uhuru Kenyatta is with us. Ako pamoja nasi.
Kalonzo promising to thwart any plans to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Kama wako na njia ya kutoa rigiji njama, kama ako na njama hiyo ya kumtoa, sisi wanaazimio tunasema hawatamtoa peke yake, watoe yeye na Ruto. Wangapi wanasema hiyo?
In Kiambu town, Azimio leaders voiced their support for the protest scheduled for the August 8th, known as Nane Nane, to push for the Gen Z demands.
Vijana mukae mukijua tupo. Sitaweka upinzani ule mkali zaidi.
The declaration of Wiper leader as the de facto leader of the opposition in the country has now been seen as a clear indication that he'll be on the ballot come 2027 on the presidential election. Willie Lusiga, Citizen TV in Kiambu County.
All right, in other news, President William Ruto is pleading with political leaders as well as government officials to ensure that they do all that it takes to work for Kenyans and deliver services diligently.
Speaking while attending a church service in Narok, the president said his government has brought in leaders from the opposition in order to ensure the country is united.
Now, Ruto has said that there are no more excuses for failing to deliver to Kenyans.
He once again assured the people of Narok that his promises, which included the development of affordable houses and construction of 11 markets, will be delivered.
Sasa hizi tumeunda serikali ya kila mtu. Hakuna mtu sasa ya kulalamika. Hakuna mtu ya kupingana. Sasa sisi wote tusimame pamoja. Tupangane pamoja. Tuungane. Tushirikiane. Ile sasa kazi iko ni vile tutashirikiana tutatue changamoto za taifa letu la Kenya tukiwa pamoja. Ile kazi iko sasa ni kupanga maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya tukiwa pamoja.
At the same time, the athletics program at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games entered day 4 today with an easy-going morning for Team Kenya and a very busy schedule in the evening.
And just this evening,